Hi, I'm Denise Merritt, CEO and founder of Merritt Business Solutions. Thanks so much for joining Merritt and Friends today. We hope you find the topic helpful, and if you don't mind, stay after and we'll share how Merritt Business Solutions may help your business. Thanks and enjoy.
Um, and Welcome to Merritt and Friends, everyone. My name is Mandy Waters. Today I have Jason Rubin with me. He's got over 15 years in the commercial property and casualty insurance experience, and currently sits as the Chief Operating Officer at J. Gregory. Now, Jason, along with his partners, started J. Gregory PEO in 2020, and their passion is to bring the benefits of all the big white-collar companies to every business. One benefit that he is so passionate about is the employee assistance program, and I can't tell you anyone that would be better to explain it. Jason, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate you having me. We're excited to talk about the EAP program.
Uh, so what exactly is the EAP program?
Sure. So the EAP program is an acronym that stands for the Employee Assistance Program. And I'll click on this next slide here. It'll give you a broader definition of the acronym. So an employee assistance program is a workplace benefit. That's a key there. It's a benefit that the employer are providing to their employees, designated to support the employees in managing personal and work-related challenges that may impact their well-being and their performance. So a couple key takeaways as you read that definition. This is not limited to workplace issues. This is items that can be affecting them personally as well as professionally, right? Because what we see oftentimes is those personal items find their way into the professional space. And so this is a way to assist us employees with those items.
And that's amazing and really good point to point out. Um, HR is getting back to us being all human beings. And you had mentioned something in our last conversation about this is life. And every one of us as human beings are experiencing life, and how we deal with it is key. So Jason, what does the EAP offer?
Sure, Manny, I'm glad you asked. So let me go to this next slide. So the Employee Assistance Program is a tool for the employees to cope with personal and professional issues that might be affecting them, right? So this could be a variety of issues, a death in the family, maybe your children are having an issue at school, marital disputes, or maybe you're having an issue at work, right? So it's a variety of uses, and a lot of people overlook that, thinking that it's only for professional uses, and it's not, right? Because often we see personal issues find their way into the work environment, right? So um, this is free confidential counseling service for the employee and up to 10 dependents, okay? And each one of these individuals, the employee and their 10 dependents, get up to 6 counseling sessions for free every year if they're an employee through J. Gregory PEO. And that's a really big deal, right? So these can be counseling sessions to help employees and their dependents cope with stress, anxiety, depression, substance abuse, relationship problems, financial difficulties, grief of loss, and any other personal work related issues, right? And so it's an invaluable tool. It's underutilized, to be quite honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
As an employer, I think oftentimes employees, just especially if you have a family type environment in your office, can find their way through your door to have a discussion with you, to have you help them through an issue, when often we're not qualified for that, right? And so EAP is a valuable tool as a manager to, I don't want to say defer, but take that item and refer your client or your employee to a qualified counselor that can actually help them through it, right? And that'll free up your time. It'll help your employee be more effective in the workplace, and they're with somebody who can actually help them, and you know that for certain, right?
But I know that the EAP also helps that owner or that manager work with their employees.
Sure.
What else does the EAP offer?
Yeah, so you're leading me well into the next slide, right? So if you go to our next slide here, The management training program, this is actually unlimited, right? Which is obviously a very robust offering. Management training is an employee assistance program, focuses on equipping managers and supervisors with the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively support their employees and promote a healthy work environment, right? So you're asking, that's a broad definition. How does that really help my managers? And the best example, and again, I'll take this from a previous conversation that we've had, is you've got that great laborer, whatever the profession might be. Maybe it's a blue collar space, or maybe it's at the hospitality level as an example, and they're a terrific server, let's say. That individual gets promoted to a managerial role. That's a whole nother set of responsibilities and a new way, a new lens to look at your place of employment and your peers, really, right? And so with this management training program, it'll help that newly dubbed manager appropriately work on team building, how to exercise their authority appropriately. That's often a real issue for new managers. How to run a constructive meeting. Obviously, we can all see that's an invaluable tool. How to separate personal and business relationships. Again, coming to that person or that individual who comes from a lower level and is now promoted to that manager level. As hard of a worker as they might be, they're close to their peers. And now that they've been promoted, it might be difficult for them to separate that personal and work balance, right? That's often a difficult. How do you manage your friends, right? That's always hard. Which leads into the next bullet point there: how to conduct employee reviews. That can be a difficult thing to do, especially with your friends. And identification of employees with problems, right? And that bleeds back, and this is like the gift that keeps on giving, right? That comes back to the EAP program. As an employer, we can use this, right, as we're seeing here for management training, for employees that have personal or workplace issues. Your managers can also use it in the same way, right? This is the gift that keeps on giving, right? So if your manager has an employee that comes to them and says, hey, I need your help with this personally, I'm having this, instead of your manager now becoming a counselor, which they're not qualified to be, now they can refer them to a confidential counseling service that can actually help their underlying employee. And that's an incredible tool.
Oh, definitely. Well, there's a lot of benefits here for the individual employees. What does an EAP offer a business? Like, how do you put it all together?
Yeah. Well, aside from what we've already touched on, the proactive approach that an EAP gives you from a workers' comp perspective is a great way to look at it, and from a human resource perspective, right? Let's give an example of maybe an employee gets injured at your place of business, and upon taking their post-accident drug test, we discover that they have some type of substance in their system that they shouldn't have, right? EAP can also be utilized as a drug rehabilitation tool with the work comp carrier to get that individual back to work, right? And where that becomes even more, I think you'll understand this, coming in this day and age, it's hard to find good employees, right? And so even though you might have an individual that's troubled and they have a substance that they should not have in their system, you might not want to terminate that employee. EAP can then be used as a tool with the carrier to say, hey, listen, we know they made a mistake. We're going to put them through this rehabilitation program via EAP, which is already included in your program through J. Gregory PEO, and now they're back to work in a few weeks, and that's good to go.
So when we talk about, HR and all of us being humans, I can see how this definitely enhances the performance and the productivity of the employees and ultimately for the business, correct?
Yeah, sure. So on this slide, obviously, we've titled it, How Can the Employee Assistance Program Help My Business, right? Aside from the items that we've touched on, enhancing employee well-being, improving productivity and performance, right, which is what we all want, right? Reduced absenteeism. This isn't carte blanche. It's not going to guarantee it for everybody, but obviously, if your employees aren't having issues at home and work and they have a resource to talk to, it'll reduce that absenteeism. Improved relationships and employee engagement. That's a really big item. Obviously, if you have some type of intense personal or workplace item that's troubling you, if you can alleviate that stress, now you have an increased engagement for new workplace initiatives and relationships within the workplace. And then overall retention and employee loyalty. And we can see that with other benefits, right? We all think of the term benefits and we think group health, right? But the employee assistance program is an often overlooked benefit that you as an employer would be providing to your employees via J. Gregory PEO. And again, the results and the benefits are numerous.
I do believe that every business would benefit from having an employee assistance program to really show that they care about their employees that ultimately are carrying their business. So this is great information.
Yeah, and an important consideration is this isn't limited to big companies, right? It's the old PEO model. We're here to bring the Fortune 500 benefits to the smaller employers. So personal and workplace issues don't just affect employees of large corporations, as we all know. This is out there for the 2 and 3 man employees and everybody above that.
That is awesome. Well, Jason, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on and explaining the employee assistance program. Please feel free to reach out to Jason if you have any questions, or reach out to me and I'll definitely introduce you to Jason. Thank you so much for joining Merritt and Friends. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Mandy. Bye-bye.